The silence inside the grand hall was heavy, like the air before a storm. It was a silence built on thousands of years of judgment. The hall itself was a masterpiece of alien engineering, floating in the void of space between stars. It was made of glass and light, colors shifting slowly from blue to deep violet. For humans, the light was too dim. For the members of the Galactic Council, it was perfect. Ambassador James stood on the circular platform in the center of the room. He wore his best formal suit, dark black with a simple white shirt. He felt uncomfortable standing there. Around him, floating in anti-gravity pods, were the council members. They looked like strange statues. The Vex were tall, thin creatures made of crystal and light. The silicates were rock beings that rumbled when they spoke. Above them, all hovered the High Vizier, a creature with no face. Just a glowing orb of gold. James looked behind him. Standing near the wall were his people. There was Elena, his chief advisor. She had her arms crossed, her face hard as stone. Next to her was Mark, a big man who used to be a soldier. They were the only humans allowed in this room. The rest of the human delegation waited in their ship, watching through a video feed. James felt the weight of 8 billion people resting on his shoulders. He took a deep breath and looked up at the golden orb. "Humans of Earth," the High Vizier spoke. The voice was not loud, but it vibrated in James's chest. "The Council has reached a decision." James nodded. "We're listening," he said. His voice was steady, but he clenched his hands behind his back. "You are a young species," the Vex representative said, its voice sounding like glass breaking. "You have explored space for only a few hundred years. In that short time, you have caused chaos." "We have traded," James corrected. "We have mined asteroids. We have built colonies. We have followed the laws." "You have bent the laws," the silicate rumbled. The floor shook slightly. "You are too aggressive. You expand too fast. You fight with pirates when you should ask us for help. You do not know your place." James felt a flash of anger, but he pushed it down. "We defend ourselves. We do not wait for others to save us. We value independence." "Independence is dangerous for the young," the High Vizier said. "Therefore, the Council has voted. Your trade license is revoked. Your technology access is restricted. You may no longer use the galactic gates." The room went cold. James froze. Without the gates, humans were trapped. The gates were the only way to travel fast between stars. If they lost that, Earth would be isolated. It would be a prison. "This is a death sentence," Elena whispered from the side. "There is another choice," the High Vizier continued, as if it were being generous. "You may surrender your starships. You may return to your solar system and live under the protection of the Council. We will give you aid, but you will never leave your system again. You will be a protected reserve." "A zoo," Mark said loudly, unable to stop himself. "You want to make us a petting zoo." The council members made noises of disgust. The Vex flashed red lights. The silicate grumbled. "Silence, human," the High Vizier commanded. "This is your only chance to survive. If you refuse, you are banished. You must leave the council space immediately. Go to the void sector. There are no rules there. You will likely die, but you will be free to die as you wish." James looked at the alien faces. He saw arrogance. He saw centuries of looking down on others. They didn't think humans could survive. They thought humans would crawl back and beg to be pets. James looked at Elena. She didn't speak, but she gave a small nod. She knew what he was thinking. Mark smiled, a dangerous smile. James turned back to the council. He straightened his back. He did not feel fear anymore. He felt something else. A fire started in his chest. We do not accept your protection, James said clearly. His voice echoed in the hall. Then you choose the void? The High Vizier asked. You choose extinction? We choose freedom, James said. You call us dangerous? You are right. We are dangerous because we do not give up. We do not stop. If you cast us out, we will not disappear. Foolishness, the Vex representative chimed. Go then. The void will crush you. Go unpack your things, the High Vizier said. You have 24 hours to clear your stations and leave. If you are found in council space after that, your ships will be destroyed. James turned around. He walked toward his team without bowing. He did not say thank you. He did not say goodbye. He simply walked away. The three humans walked through the long white corridors of the space station. Aliens moved out of their way, looking at them with pity. They thought the humans were walking to their graves. They entered the airlock and boarded their ship, the Intrepid. It was a diplomatic ship, sleek and silver. As soon as the airlock sealed, the mood changed. Are they serious? Mark asked, slamming his fist onto a table. They want us to give up our ships? Go back to Earth and sit in the mud? They are serious, Elena said. She was typing furiously on a datapad. They have already locked us out of the trade network. I can't access the star maps. They are erasing us. Let them, James said. He walked to the front of the ship and looked out the window. He could see the diplomatic ships of other nations. He could see the massive shape of the council station. Get me the captain of the fleet. A few seconds later, the main screen flickered. The face of Captain Harris appeared. He was on the human flagship, the Columbia, which was parked nearby. Ambassador, Harris said. I heard. What are the orders? Are all our ships accounted for? James asked. Yes, sir. The Columbia, the Victory, the Endurance, and all the transport ships. We are ready to move. James took a deep breath. This was the moment. Once he gave this order, there was no going back. Humanity would be alone in the dark. Harris, James said, disconnect the docking clamps. Do not wait for the docking crew. Cut them loose if you have to, sir. Harris looked surprised. We are leaving now? Now, James said. We are not waiting 24 hours. We leave while they still think we are arguing. Understood, Harris said, and a small smile appeared on his face. Initiating undocking sequence. All hands to battle stations. Just in case. James looked at Elena and Mark. Send a message to all human colonies and ships. Tell them the Council has banished us. Tell them we are not going home. Tell them to regroup at coordinates 459. That is the edge of the void. The void is dangerous, Elena said. The radiation alone will kill half the fleet if our shields aren't perfect. Then we will make our shields perfect, James said firmly. We will make everything perfect. Because out there, no one is coming to save us. The ship shook gently as the Intrepid pulled away from the station. On the screen, James watched the Columbia and the other ships doing the same. It was a chaotic sight. Emergency lights flashed on the station as aliens realized the humans were leaving without permission. Alarms began to sound, but no one fired yet. The Council thought the humans were just running away in fear. James picked up the ship's comm system. He opened a channel to the Council Hall, knowing they were listening. Council members, James said, you tried to tame us. You tried to put us in a cage. But you forgot one thing. Humans do not thrive in cages. We thrive in the wild. We are leaving your space. We are going to the dark. Do not follow us. He switched off the comms. Engage hyperdrive, James ordered to the pilot. Target, the void sector. The stars on the screen stretched into lines of light. The Intrepid jumped, followed closely by the rest of the human fleet. They left behind the safe, orderly lights of the Council. They left behind the trade routes and the fancy stations. They shot out into the black, unknown emptiness. James sat in the command chair. He looked at the endless darkness on the screen. It was scary. It was empty. But as he watched the stars fly past, he didn't feel fear. He felt a strange sense of hope. "They think we will die out there," Mark said, standing next to him. He poured 2 cups of coffee and handed one to James. "I know," James said, taking the cup. "But they are wrong. We won't just survive. We will change. We will become something they have never seen before." "Humanity," Elena said from her station. She looked up, her eyes shining. "We aren't refugees anymore. We are something else. We are a dominion," James said. The ship raced forward, leaving the old galaxy behind. The trial was over. The exile had begun. And for the first time in human history, humanity was truly free. They were alone, and they were ready. The journey to the void sector was long and quiet. For weeks, the human fleet moved through the darkness of deep space. They did not stop at space stations. They did not see other ships. They were alone. When the fleet finally dropped out of hyperdrive, the silence was replaced by the sounds of alarms. The view screen showed a terrifying sight. The void sector was not empty. It was a graveyard of stars. Here, suns were old and dying, glowing with weak red light. Planets were scorched and frozen. There were no green worlds, no blue oceans. Thick clouds of purple gas filled the space between stars, crackling with dangerous radiation. This was a place the Galactic Council avoided. It was a place where spaceships went to die. "This is a nightmare," Mark said. He stood next to James on the bridge of the Columbia. He looked at the swirling dust clouds. "It is ugly," James agreed. "But it is ours." "The radiation levels are high," Elena reported. She was busy at her station, her fingers flying across the keyboard. "Our shields can handle it, but we can't stay in O. Pen space for long. We need to find a planet to land on." "Scout the area," James ordered. "Find us a rock." For 3 days, the fleet drifted through the toxic clouds. Small scout ships flew ahead, scanning planets. They found worlds made of acid, worlds with crushing gravity, and worlds with storms that could tear steel apart. Finally, a scout ship found something usable. It was a large gray moon orbiting a dead gas giant. It had a thick atmosphere, but under the clouds, the ground was solid rock. "It's called Outpost 1 now," James said. "Let's go down." The landing was rough. The human ships were big, and they were not made for landing on planets. They were made for space. But the pilots were skilled. One by one, the massive starships broke through the thick clouds and settled onto the dusty surface. The engines cut off, and a heavy silence fell over the gray landscape. Airlocks hissed open, and the first humans stepped out. They wore heavy spacesuits to breathe the thin air. They looked at a sky that was a dark, bruised purple. The wind howled, kicking up sharp dust. It was cold, far colder than Earth. "I hate it," Mark said over the radio. He was the first one on the ground, leading the construction team. "It's freezing. My suit heater is already struggling. Start building the shields." James's voice came through the radio. "We don't have time to complain." The work began immediately. There was no rest. The Council was not coming to help, and the planet did not care if they lived or died. The humans had to build a home before their food ran out or their air scrubbers failed. Thousands of people poured out of the ships. They didn't have fancy construction robots. They had hands, tools, and sheer will. They dragged heavy metal plates out of the cargo holds. They erected tall pillars. They dug into the rocky ground to find water. Mark ran from team to team, shouting orders. Lift that beam. Move faster. We need the outer wall up before the solar flares hit. It was chaos. People were sweating inside their suits. Machines broke down, and engineers fixed them with tape and spare parts. It was messy and loud, but it was fast. The council species would have spent 10 years planning the city. The humans did it in 10 days. While the construction teams worked, the scientists were busy studying the planet. They found that the rocks were full of strange minerals. Alea took a piece of black rock to the lab. She ran it through a scanner. "James, come look at this," Elena said. James walked into the temporary lab. He was tired. He hadn't slept in 2 days. "What is it?" "This rock," Elena said. "It's emitting a strange energy signature. It's ISO 5. The Galactic Council database says it is useless. It is too unstable. It explodes if you touch it wrong." James looked at the rock. "So it's dangerous." "Yes," Elena smiled. "But our engineers think they can stabilize it. If they can, this mineral produces 10 times more energy than the fuel we used to use. Imagine a ship shield powered by this." James nodded slowly. "The council threw us away because they thought we were weak. But they threw us into a sector full of power that they were too scared to use. I have already told the mining teams to stop looking for iron," Elena said. "We are going to mine the ISO 5. Weeks turned into months. Outpost 1 changed. A massive dome was built over the landing site. Inside the dome, the air was breathable. Plants were growing in hydroponic gardens under artificial lights. The gray rock was covered in metal floors and bright lights, but the people were changing too. The softness of civilization was gone. No one wore fancy clothes anymore. Everyone wore simple uniforms. Everyone worked. Children learned to fix engines before they learned to read stories. The scientists became soldiers, and the soldiers became scientists. James walked through the main plaza of the city. The ceiling of the dome was high above them, shielding them from the purple storm outside. He watched a group of young people training with new laser rifles. They looked tough. They looked like survivors. He met Mark at a small cafe in the center of the plaza. They drank synthetic coffee. It tasted bad, but it was hot. "The fleet is ready," Mark said quietly. The engineers finished installing the ISO 5 drives in the Victory. "It's fast, James. Faster than anything the council has." "And the weapons?" James asked. "Experimental," Mark grinned. "But powerful. We tested the cannons on an asteroid yesterday. There was nothing left of the asteroid." James looked out the window of the cafe. He could see the shipyards in the distance. They were building new ships. They weren't building transport ships anymore. They were building warships. Black, angular ships with heavy armor and massive guns. They were ugly, functional, and deadly. "Do you think they are watching us?" Mark asked. "The council?" "I hope so," James said. "I hope they forget us too. Let them think we died out here in the dark. Let them sleep peacefully while we sharpen our knives." Elena walked up to the table, holding a data pad. She looked serious. "We have a problem," she said. "One of our long-range sensors picked up a signal. It's a distress call. It's from a cargo ship." "Not human. Pirates?" James asked. "Probably," Elena said. "It's near the edge of the sector. Do we answer?" James put his coffee cup down. He looked at the people walking in the plaza. They were banished. They were outlaws. But they were not monsters. "We are not the council," James said. "We do not ignore people in pain. But we are not fools. Send the vanguard. Tell Captain Alex to investigate. If it is a trap, destroy it. If it is someone who needs help, and they are willing to trade information, help them." "Understood," Elena said. She turned and walked away to send the message. Mark watched her go. "We are building a dominion, James. A real one. Not a trade alliance. A military power." "It is necessary," James said. "The void teaches you one thing very quickly. You are strong, or you are dead." We chose to be strong. Outside the dome, the purple winds continued to howl. But inside, the lights of the human city shone bright against the darkness. The forges roared day and night. The smoke from the factories mixed with the air. Humanity was not just surviving in the exile. They were evolving. They were turning the poison of the void sector into the steel of their new civilization. The galaxy had cast them aside, but in the shadows, the humans were preparing to rise. 50 years passed quickly in the void sector. On Earth, 50 years was a long time, but in deep space, time moved differently when you were fighting for survival every day. The gray rock of Outpost 1 was now just the capital of a vast network. The humans had spread. They had terraformed the moons around them and built massive space stations in the asteroid belts. The Dominion was no longer a group of refugees. It was a powerful nation. James was old now. His hair was white, and he walked with a cane, but his eyes were still sharp. He sat in the command center of the Dominion's Pride, a massive station that orbited the capital. Around him, young officers worked. They were born in the void. They had never seen the green fields of Earth or the bright lights of the council stations. To them, the purple clouds and dangerous stars were home. Elena stood next to James. She had aged too, but she stood tall, watching the main radar screen. Mark had passed away 2 years ago in a mining accident, but his legacy was the strong fleet that protected the sector. "We are detecting a ship, sir," a young officer said. His name was Ryan. He looked nervous. "It is coming from the northern border. The signal is faint. Is it one of ours?" Elena asked. "No, ma'am," Ryan replied. "It does not match our codes. It is using an old Galactic Council frequency." James leaned forward in his chair. "The Council? They have not come this far in half a century." "It is a science vessel," Ryan said. "The Aurelius. It is small, not a warship. They are drifting. It looks like they are scanning the asteroids." The bridge became quiet. Everyone stopped to listen. For 50 years, the Council had left them alone. The Council assumed the humans had died of starvation or radiation. "They were wrong. They are lost," Elena said. "They wandered into the wrong neighborhood." "Send the Vanguard," James said softly. "Send Captain Alex." In the darkness of the asteroid field, the human ship waited. It was a Vanguard-class destroyer. It was painted black to blend into the dark. It was smaller than the old diplomatic ships, but it was faster and meaner. It had no shiny windows or smooth curves. It was made of heavy metal and sharp angles. Captain Alex sat in the commander's seat. He was young, maybe 30 years old. He wore a simple gray uniform. He was drinking coffee, looking at the screen where the alien ship floated. The alien ship was sleek and white, very beautiful. It looked like a silver egg. "That is a pretty ship," his pilot, Lisa, said. "It looks fragile." "It is fragile," Alex said. "Their shields are designed for energy weapons, not kinetic impact. One missile would break it in half. Are we engaging?" Lisa asked. "They are in our territory." "No," Alex said. "We scare them first. Open a channel." The communication screen crackled. An alien face appeared. It was a Vex. The crystal creature looked annoyed. "Unidentified ship," the alien said. "This is the science vessel Aurelius of the Galactic Council. Identify yourself immediately. You are blocking our survey." Alex smiled. He pressed a button. "This is Captain Alex of the Terran Dominion ship Vanguard. You have entered restricted space. Turn around." There was a pause. The Vex looked confused. Terran Dominion? We have no record of this faction. Are you pirates? We are the owners of this sector, Alex said. Lay. Then now, the Vex laughed, a sound like breaking glass. We do not take orders from pirates. This sector is unclaimed wasteland. We are conducting a survey. Move aside or we will report you to the Council fleet. Alex laughed too. Report us? Please do. Tell them we are still here. But for now, move. We do not move for scavengers, the Vex said. Charge weapons. Disable their engines. On the Aurelius, the crew was calm. They thought this was just a random pirate ship. They thought a single shot would scare the humans away. They were wrong. They are locking weapons, Lisa said calmly. Shields are holding. Show them what we can do, Alex said. Don't fire. Just run. Engage ISO 5 drive. Full speed. The Vanguard did not fly like a normal ship. It did not move smoothly. It jumped. It vanished from the sensors and appeared behind the Aurelius instantly. Then it vanished again and appeared above them. Then to the side. The Aurelius crew panicked. Their sensors could not track the human ship. The computer was screaming. Target lost. Target reappeared. Target lost. Where are they? The Vex captain shouted. Fire! The alien ship fired its lasers, but they hit empty space. The human ship was too fast. On the bridge of the Vanguard, Alex watched the confused aliens. They can't see us, he said. Their technology is too old. Let's give them a closer look. He flew the ship right next to the alien bridge window. For a split second, the two ships were side by side. The aliens could see Alex through the window. He didn't have a helmet on. He waved at them. Then he was gone. The sudden movement created a shockwave. The Aurelius shook violently. Alarms blared. The lights flickered. Shields are failing. An alien crew member shouted. The wake from their engines is tearing us apart. Stop, the Vex captain yelled. We surrender. Stop moving. Alex slowed the ship down. He reappeared directly in front of the Aurelius, blocking their path. I told you to leave, Alex said over the comms. This was just a warning. Next time, we will not play. We will crush you. The Vex captain was trembling. Who are you people? Alex looked at the camera. We are the Storm. Go home. The alien ship turned around quickly. It fired its engines, desperate to get away. It fled back toward the border of the Void sector. Back on the Dominion's Pride, James watched the replay of the encounter. He smiled. They ran, Elena said. They ran from one destroyer. They are arrogant, James said. They have been powerful for so long they forgot what fear feels like. They felt it today. Captain Alex performed well, Elena said. He is a good commander, just like his father. James nodded. He remembered Mark. Mark would have loved to see that. Will they send the fleet? Ryan asked from his station. Yes, James said. They will send a fleet to punish the pirates who insulted them. They will come with big ships and big guns. And they will think they are going on a hunting trip. But we are not prey, Elena said. Her eyes were hard. No. James stood up slowly. We are not prey. We are the trap. The news of the encounter spread through the Dominion like fire. People watched the video of the Vanguard dancing around the alien ship. They cheered in the streets and in the factories. For 50 years, they had worked in the dark, wondering if they were the last ones left. Now they knew the galaxy was still out there, and they knew they were stronger in the shipyards. The workers increased their pace. The forges burned brighter. Massive black ships waited in the dry docks, engines humming. The Dominion was quiet no more. The ghosts had shown themselves. The Council was coming, and humanity was ready to give them a welcome they would never forget. The exiles were returning not as beggars, but as conquerors. The message from the Aurelius reached the Galactic Council capital in less than a day. The Vex captain was shaking as he told the story. He spoke of a black ship that moved like lightning, of humans who were not dead but strong, and of a warning that was delivered with arrogance. The council members were angry. They did not believe it was a new empire. They believed it was a group of pirates using stolen technology. How dare a band of refugees threaten a council ship? The High Vizier demanded. The golden orb spun faster in its chamber. They are savages. They must be crushed so that order is maintained. The council voted quickly. They assembled the pacification fleet. It was a massive force, 200 ships strong. They were sleek and silver, filled with soldiers and advanced weapons. They did not bring scouts or diplomats. They brought battleships. Their plan was simple: fly to the edge of the void sector, destroy the human base, and fly back to celebrate. But in the void sector, the humans were waiting. They had spies listening to council communications. They knew the fleet was coming. James sat in the main war room on the station. The room was dark, lit only by the glow of holographic maps. He looked at the red dots representing the enemy fleet. He was very old now, and his hands shook, but his mind was clear. He was the first architect, the father of the Dominion, but today he was just a strategist. Elena stood beside him. She directed the fleet. "They are coming in a straight line," she said. "They are not scanning for obstacles. They are confident." "Arrogance," James said. "It is their biggest weakness." Mark's son, named David, was now the general of the ground forces. He stood on the other side of the map. "My teams are ready. We have hidden thousands of drone mines in the asteroid belt. We have boarding parties and stealth ships just behind their line." "Do not destroy them all," James said quietly. "Leave the flagship. We need them to be afraid enough to run, but alive enough to carry the message." "Understood," David said. The trap is set. The council fleet reached the border of the void sector. It was a cloudy, purple area of space. The commander of the fleet, a silicate named Gorth, sat in his chair. He looked at the clouds with disgust. "Scanners detect no activity," an alien officer reported. "The area is silent. The pirates are hiding." "Push through," Gorth ordered. "Full speed. Blast anything that moves." The fleet moved forward. They entered the dense clouds. Suddenly, space lit up. "Contact!" The officer shouted that it wasn't a ship. It was millions of tiny metal balls floating in the void. The humans had seeded the area with chaff, small pieces of metal that confused radar screens. Then the trap was sprung. "Fire!" Elena's voice commanded over the human network. Hidden inside the asteroid fields, massive Dominion heavy cruisers decloaked. They were ugly, jagged ships painted dark gray. They didn't use energy weapons like the Council. They used magnetic railguns. The guns fired solid metal slugs the size of cars at incredible speed. The battle began instantly. The human slugs slammed into the sleek Council ships. The shields of the Council flickered and died. The metal slugs punched through hulls, destroying engines and weapons. "Report!" Gorth screamed as his ship shook. "We are under attack from all sides. We cannot see them. They are using the asteroids for cover." On the bridge of the Vanguard, Captain Alex laughed. His ship moved fast, weaving through the debris. He targeted a Council destroyer. "Locked on," he said. "Fire." A missile shot out. It didn't explode on the shield. It went through the shield and stuck to the ship's hull. Then it exploded. The destroyer broke in half silently, venting air and fire into the vacuum. The Council fleet tried to form a battle line. They were used to fighting in open space, standing still and shooting at long distances. But the humans fought in close. They swarmed like bees. Small, fast human ships flew right up to the massive alien battleships. "Boarding pods away," General David said. Hundreds of small pods shot out from the human ships. They drilled into the hulls of the council ships. Inside, human soldiers in heavy armor burst into the alien corridors. The aliens had never seen soldiers like this. The human armor was black and bulky, powered by ISO-5 energy. The aliens carried small pistols. The humans carried heavy rifles. The fighting was brutal. The humans cleared the ships room by room. They didn't take prisoners. They just disabled the engines and left Dot in the center of the chaos. The flagship of the Council, the Justice, tried to retreat. But it was too late. "Target their engines," Alex ordered. "But do not hit the bridge." The Vanguard fired 2 precise shots. The Justice shuddered and stopped moving. Its lights flickered, but the main section remained intact. "All units, cease fire." Elena's command went out to the fleet. The shooting stopped instantly. The silence of space returned, but it was a broken silence. Debris floated everywhere. 50 council ships were destroyed or disabled. The rest were fleeing, turning their backs and running as fast as they could. They had expected an easy fight against primitives. They had found a war machine. The Vanguard pulled up alongside the crippled Justice. Alex opened a channel. "This is Captain Alex of the Terran Dominion," he said. "Commander Gorth, can you hear me?" The face of the silicate appeared on the screen. He looked terrified. His rock skin was cracked, and his bridge was in ruins. You are monsters," Gorth whispered. "We are humans," Alex corrected him. "We told you to stay away. You did not listen." Gorth looked at the screen. "We will send more. We have thousands of ships." "You can send 10,000, Alex said. "It won't matter. We are not what we used to be. We are not your refugees anymore. Go back," Alex continued. "Go back to your comfortable stations and your safe planets. But remember this view. Remember the void sector. Because this is ours. If you cross this line again, we will not stop at the border. We will come for your capital." The connection cut. The Vanguard banked away and rejoined the Black Fleet. Back on the station, James watched the alien ships retreat. He let out a long breath. It was over. They had won. "We did it," Elena said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Yes," James said. "We survived." "But we did more than survive, Elena. Today, we took their history and burned it. The galaxy will never be the same." The humans cheered in the streets of Outpost 1. They cheered for the soldiers, for the captains, and for the future. The banishment that was meant to be the end of humanity had become their greatest strength. They had built a fortress in the dark, and now the galaxy knew to fear the dark. The Dominion had arrived. The silence that followed the battle was louder than the explosions. The Galactic Council capital was a place of panic. Usually, the station was calm and full of light. But today, the alarms were silent because the leaders were too afraid to make a sound. The broken ships of the pacification fleet had limped back, bringing horror stories with them. They spoke of black ships that moved like ghosts, of soldiers who could not be stopped, and of a power that the Council could not match. Ambassador James was dead. He had passed away peacefully in his sleep, just weeks after the victory, a smile on his face. But his dream was alive. The leadership of the Dominion had passed to the next generation. Elena was now the High Chancellor. She was old, her hair white, but her presence was commanding. Captain Alex was promoted to Admiral. He was the face of the new military, the sword of humanity. They did not send a small ship this time. They did not ask for permission. The Terran Dominion sent a message that everyone in the galaxy could see. A single dreadnought, the Resolution, jumped out of hyperspace. It was the largest ship ever built by human hands. It was black as night, covered in thick armor and terrifying weapons. It did not park at the guest docks. It moved directly to the center of the solar system, blocking the light from the capital station. It was a statement. It said, "We are here." On the bridge of the Resolution, Admiral Alex stood at the front. He wore his black uniform, his hands clasped behind his back. Next to him stood Chancellor Elena. She looked tired but fierce. "They are hailing us," the communications officer said. "The High Vizier is asking to speak with the pirate leader." "Put him on the screen," Alex said. The main screen flickered. The golden orb of the High Vizier appeared. The light around it dimmed, as if the station was saving power. The Vizier tried to sound powerful, but his voice shook. "This is an act of war," the Vizier said. "You have no right to bring a warship into the heart of the Council space. You are violating the treaty." "Treaty?" Elena stepped forward. Her voice was cold and clear. "You banished us. You took away our rights. You told us to die in the dark. We owe you nothing. There is no treaty. There is only us." The screen changed to show the full council chamber. The Vex, the Silicates, and all the other species were there. They looked small and fragile. They were looking at the humans with fear. For thousands of years, they had been the strongest. Now, they felt like children looking at a tiger. "What do you want?" the High Vizier asked, his voice dropping to a whisper. "We want respect," Alex said. "We are not asking to rejoin your council. We do not want your seats or your votes. We built our own tables. We built our own halls. Then why are you here?" A Vex representative asked, its crystal body flickering nervously. "To change the map," Elena said. She pressed a button, and a holographic map of the galaxy appeared between the two ships. A large section of the map, the dark void sector, was colored in black. "The void sector is now the territory of the Terran Dominion. It belongs to humanity. You cannot claim a whole sector," the High Vizier protested weakly. "We already have," Alex said, "and we are expanding. But we will not cross your borders if you do not cross ours. This is the new rule." The council members looked at each other. They were defeated. They had no fleet left to stop the humans. They had no weapon that could break the Dominion shields. They were trapped by their own fear. Is there anything else?" the High Vizier asked. "Yes," Elena said. "We are watching. The next time you try to banish a species or treat someone like a pet, remember us. Because if you become too cruel, if you become too arrogant, we will come back. Not to trade, not to talk. We will come to stop you." The transmission ended. The holographic map vanished. The Resolution stayed there for another hour, orbiting the station like a dark moon. The people on the station watched it with telescopes, wondering what the humans looked like. They wondered if they were monsters, or if they were just like them but stronger. Finally, Alex turned to the pilot. "Take us home," he ordered. The massive ship turned around. Its engines glowed with a strange blue light, the light of ISO 5, with a flash that blinded the sensors. The Resolution jumped back into the void. Inside the station, the lights came back up, but the fear remained. The council sat in silence for a long time. They realized that the galaxy had changed forever. The little humans they had thrown away had grown up. They had become a giant. And now, the galaxy had to learn to live with them. Back in the void sector, the news of the visit was celebrated. The cities on the gray moons were full of music and light. The hard years were over. The Dominion was safe. Admiral Alex stood on the balcony of the command center on Outpost 1. He looked out at the stars. He thought about James and Mark. He thought about the refugees who had started with nothing. They had been scared and alone. But they had fought. They had worked. They had turned a punishment into a victory. "Sir," a young officer said, walking up to him, "the council is signaling. They accept our terms. They have recognized the border." Alex smiled. "Good," he said. "Let them work on their laws. We have work to do." He looked up at the dark purple sky. It wasn't scary anymore. It was beautiful. It was home. Humanity had been cast into the darkness, but they didn't just survive the darkness. They had become the masters of it. And the stars would never be the same again.